So, what do we have here? Okay, it's the new Ganzo balisong knife, the model G766 in 440C. And there's not many reviews out there, and I thought maybe I could help someone deciding if this knife is worth or is not. So let's give a short dive in. What do I think about this knife? In the first place, uh, it's necessary to warn you. I'm not a balisong pro. I don't know many tricks. I just like the concept. So my first impressions. So very light, 55 grams for a fairly long blade. It's insane. 55 grams. It's one of the lightest knives I have ever held in my hand or carried in my pocket. So this is extremely light, and this is mostly because of this design where the handles are basically only G10 with a slight metal inserts in here and in here. So these parts serve as a stopping pin construction, and this part is basically a counterweight balance for a better kinetic energy during the flipping, because the knife is so light, the kinetic energy is really low, and it reminds me maybe the Balio pan, if you know that fidget toy from Spyderco. It's also a plastic construction with only some counterweight balance on the end. So this has a similar feeling with the flipping as the Balio pan. It's very light, 55 grams, extremely light. For comparison, this is a Boker Plus Mini. It's the mini version. It's a smaller knife. Okay, come on, camera, get in focus. It's a smaller knife, and this one weighs twice as much. It may be 90 grams or something like that. This is a 55. This is 90, I think. So you have an idea how lighter it is because it doesn't have these steel liners inside, which on the other side are really good for a flipping motion. The kinetic energy is completely different, and for a fidget flipping toy this construction is much better. Okay, so uh, what I like about this Ganzo as well is the blade geometry. uh, Ganzo makes really good cutting tools, not just fidget toys, but it really cuts well. So let's try to cut a few pieces of papers. Really easy. So great job, Ganzo, for the blade, because not all of the balisongs are meant to be a cutting tools. They have worse geometry, and the grind angle is not that thin, and behind the edge the balisongs are usually thicker. This is a full flat grind and really cuts well. It's really thin at the edge, so good. Factory sharpening, quite close to perfection. What can I say? Uh, some points I do not like. Uh, it's also the weight. That's on one side it's extremely light to carry. On the other side, it's a little bit worse for the kinetic motion and spinning and so on. When I'm talking about the spinning, sometimes I find a little bit more difficult to spin tricks like this because these handles, G10, it's pretty grippy, pretty not rough, but pretty grippy, and it's square, so it's not slipping in your hands as easy as this rounded corners construction. Okay, so maybe, but it's how it is. It's just a little bit different. Mm. What I don't think maybe is the latch. I have seen worse, but with this latch, this can happen. Uh, the good point is the latch doesn't come down here, so it will never touch the blade and make it blunt. But still, sometimes happen. It just stops like here. Maybe it's just my poor tricks ability, but it is how it is. Also, the ledge is very easy to disengage. If you press it from below, it's really the slightest touch and it flies open. Uh, Not very safe, I think. Comparing to this Boker, you see there is a shape that is holding it on place, and it's very tight indeed. Also, if you just press it, it flies open. Okay, it flies. There's a spring, and the ledge. This is the lowest point where it comes, so it never touches this part. Okay, so it's also slightly better on the Boker. Mm. Other thing I don't like, uh, well, I think it's because of the construction, but because this is basically only G10 with no liners, so it's very easy to, it's very flexible. Okay, so it happens when you use it as a cutting tool and you make it safe. So that with the touch, you disengage it very easily with pressing that when pressing the handle. So this is also something uh, that can happen. And one last thing I don't like with this knife, it doesn't have a pocket clip. Oh my god. Okay, I know. Most of you flipping guys don't like pocket clips on your butterfly knives, but I'm a knife user, not a fidget toy spinner and flipper, and I use it every day. And for me, this carrying this one is a perfection. It never opens in your pocket. It stays in place. Perfect, perfect. On the other hand, let me show you. Uh, the only way how to carry this knife, um, uh, let's get in focus, is you simply put it into your pocket, and what it makes is basically this, which is of course very uncomfortable. Okay, I cannot carry it like this, and let's search for it when you need it. It's deep and it's not comfortable. Okay, maybe you can use it in your small pocket. Oh, maybe you can. The problem for me is I tried to carry it like this for today. It also is not very comfortable because it touches my hips, and with the slightest touch in here, it gets disengaged. Really, with a slight touch. And it happened twice to me. I found the knife like this. Okay, so it's not very safe to carry it. So it's extremely light. So it's extremely light, which is awesome on the one side for carrying. On the other side, you really cannot carry it. So I don't see the point in here. Um, so I don't know if you want to carry it in your bag or in your jacket or whatever, in a leather pouch on your belt. Well, in that case, you can surely carry a much heftier construction, uh, which is 2 or 3 times heavier, 4 times heavier than this one. Okay, so I don't know. That I expected to have it a pocket clip, but it doesn't have. Okay, for the flipping abilities, as I've said, I'm really a poor flipper, and flipping behind the camera makes it very difficult. Okay, so excuse my poor abilities. So maybe the kinetic energy is not there. What happens sometimes? squeezing the handles, and that's also because of the construction. What happens is uh, the blade is right now it's moving quite free, but if I press the handles together like this, you squeeze the blade and it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so this is a feature of some of these constructed balisongs. So you can use it, flip it, but if you squeeze it, you won't get much flipping. Okay, so mm, I feel the kinetic energy is lacking, but this can be just because of the construction, and you will probably get used to it over time. So thanks all for watching and have fun using your belly songs.